Marketing. I'd like to welcome Vasilis Sergio with a consultant and a coach here in Thailand. You can take this and I want to go to you. Go ahead.
Okay, well, welcome. I'm Vasilis. Very glad to have you here. Before starting, I would like to ask you, does any one of you here have social media profiles? And raise your hand, like all of you. 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 5. Okay, great. That's good. Is that good? How many of you would like to know how to improve your business, have more leads, that increase your revenue, increase your sales in B2B marketing?
We all do.
So this is why we're here today. How social selling disrupts traditional B2B industries and what you can do about it. Social selling is becoming kind of trend. I don't know if you have heard about it around in the media, mostly on LinkedIn. It becomes a trend. More people, they don't understand what is this, how can they adjust it in their businesses. So this is why we're here to discuss about it. Now, I will begin from the reason why we need social selling and what is this about. Beginning of the old way of doing B2B business, usually what was happening is that people were buying lists, as you said, databases, and they were making cold calls. The sales teams were on the phones all the time, calling people, getting rejected continuously day by day. And we came to the point that at the moment, 90% of the decision makers say that they never respond to cold calling. So it turns out that 0.3% of the sales teams reports 0.3% conversion rates from cold calling. At the moment, that's 2016 data. So as you understand, when you're doing cold calling, like we were doing before, it's like you're hitting your head on the wall. You're spending like money without having any kind of success. Everything that you see here.
Do you have a lot of cold calling in Thailand? Do you get a lot of spam calling in Thailand? No. But in China, we get calls all the time, and
Also in Europe.
Also in Europe, yes. And you have apps now who actually block it automatically, right?
Yes, but they continue to change for this reason.
Yeah.
It's crazy, it's an obsession. Even this
Here in Thailand, do you have a lot of spam calling?
I get a lot of spam.
Yeah.
Not every day.
Not every day.
I think it depends on how long are you staying here. I've been like 5 years, and banks are calling me, internet providers are calling me. So it depends on what is your residency here in Thailand.
Yeah, and they all share the same thing where they buy each other's list, and it's like we're circulating the list between each other.
So it becomes like real annoying. And when you're trying to get a customer, especially in B2B, when you're talking usually for big amounts of money, it's not like a pair of shoes that cost $100. It usually is maybe a deal $500, $2,000, maybe $10,000 or even more. It's getting really annoying, and that really hurts your brand in reality. Because then you're going into the spam box, like Salmi said, but from the phone. That this brand is really annoying, and I don't want to do any kind of business with them. By the way, every slide you see here, if you want, I will give it to you later. I have the source with the link of where you can go and get the data in details of the numbers that you see here. What I found from my research is that trust is becoming the new business commodity. What this means is that we all sitting here, everyone, each one of you, you trust someone. You trust a brand because you see them producing content. You see them active on social media. Probably sometimes you see them on TV, on your Facebook, on your LinkedIn. And that creates an impulse in your mind. You remember the name of the brand. You remember it because someone talked about the brand. So that builds a trust, even unconsciously. You don't understand that it's happening, but it builds a trust in your mind. So when it comes the time that you will have the option to buy, and you need to make a decision between 2 different brands or 3 different brands, your mind will automatically point to the part that you trust, the brand that you heard before. And especially in Asia, this works really, really much. Because in Asia, still people are working with word of mouth, with dinners, with networking events. It's not like in North America that people are mostly online. and you're tracking all the numbers, and it's all advertising, CPC, and all these things. Here, when you're talking about B2B, you need to have a good word of mouth, you need to have a good brand. 55% of believe individuals over institutions. 1 out of 2 people believe individuals over institutions. So that means that if you're out there and promoting stuff as a cold brand, people will not trust you that much. They need to see a human face behind what you're promoting. They need to see some kind of bonding. Who is this person that is behind this XYZ brand, and why should I trust them? An example is that if in Southeast Asia people spend an average of 4 hours a day on social media, and that's a low number according to my research, but I'm putting this number there so it doesn't sound crazy. Most of them are persuaded by people like themselves. Wouldn't you agree with this? When you're going on your Facebook and you're seeing what your friends are doing, what they're sharing about their purchases, about their recommendations, their reviews, the restaurant that they visited, the shoes that they bought, what it creates for you is a different perception, unconsciously. You don't even understand this thing. But it creates a perception for the brand that they're sharing.
Sorry, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So, say as a company, we are running an event and we decide that we're going to have a training in a certain location, and we're traveling, and so you're taking pictures of, we're going to Barcelona, for example, for this training event, and you're at the airport and you take some pictures and you post on Facebook. And then you get to location, wow, you have a few seconds of Facebook Live, and you talk about, I don't know, the hotel or a sightseeing place. So yes, you're selling your company, but you're focusing on the social aspects of what's tied to your business.
Exactly.
Is that the kind of engagement that you're talking about?
Yes.
That's going to generate?
Yes. This is called humanizing your brand, practically.
Okay.
Instead of just putting logos of, I am XYZ brand and I sell this service or these products, and today I have the offer of 10% and tomorrow I have a special deal, blah, 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 blah. You're humanizing your brand. You're saying that, look, there are real people behind this brand. And you can trust us because we care about children, or because we are traveling and doing this charity action, etc., etc. You're humanizing your brand. What we're trying to do is we're trying to go from the old traditional method of just selling the name of the brand to humanizing it and showing the human aspect, the people behind the brand. And if you're seeing all the big brands around Thailand and Southeast Asia and globally, you will see that they're promoting faces. For example, I will give you Sansiri. Probably all of you know Sansiri. If you've seen their advertisements, they're selling lifestyle. I haven't seen any advertisement of them really showing the apartment that you buy. They're usually showing children playing outside the apartment, or swimming at the swimming pool, or watching TV, the family playing with the children. They never really show the apartment. So that's called lifestyle, even though they're selling apartments.
As it is, I mean, for small business, especially in Thailand, I mean, the importance of the founder, of the entrepreneur itself, also the image of the creator of that company, of the founder. Would you say it's important to, for the founder of the entrepreneur to promote itself on social media, to be on LinkedIn, on Facebook, and all those different things? Does that matter for people when they actually purchase from that company?
That's a very good question. When you're like a small SME, you have like 5 people, 10 people, it's very important that all the people are engaged, starting from the person that created the company. I mean, if you're not out there on social media promoting your own company, the reason and the purpose why you're doing this business, what you want to offer in the society and the consumers, why are you even doing the business? If you're like hiding behind the social media and you're not showing your face, why are you even doing this? And how people should be able to find you?
Yeah, but some founders are very shy. Some they don't want to be on social media. I mean, sometimes they don't want to even they don't want to show their photo on LinkedIn, for example. They will keep like. So you're having a photo, having the founder of the entrepreneur itself, selling it, probably helps.
I would take it to even the next step of the person that is the leader of the company, the entrepreneur, should be considered as a thought leader.
Yeah.
Should be someone that is creating content, putting opinions out there, writing new stuff, doing video interviews, podcasts, should be the first advertiser of the business. Richard Branson, for example. I don't remember the name of the CEO of Mindvalley. Advice you something, I don't remember. You will see them that they are always out there on the media, and what they do is they bond their name with the brand name. It becomes one of them. You could see, for example, Apple, Steve Jobs. It's like connected, two names together. So if you don't like to do this in the social media age, I would say find someone to do this for you. Don't just leave it outside. Don't just forget about it. Find someone, put a copywriter or a ghostwriter in to do this stuff for you. But if you're letting it out, what you're making people to believe, potential customers, is that, like you said correctly, is that you're not doing nothing. You're hiding, and there is some reason that you're hiding from the public consumers. I don't know if that answers your question.
Okay.
What is the difference between B2B and B2C? Some people I talked before, they told me that they want to understand what is the difference more. That's the most important fact for me. I've been studying a lot sales psychology. I love marketing, and then I went deeper to sales psychology. I wanted to understand why people buy. Why do we make the decision that we buy? What goes through inside our minds before we buy something? And how can you place a product in front of someone, a service, and make them buy using psychology techniques? The most important fact is that more than 80% of a buying decision in B2B is rational. And that's where most companies do a mistake. The B2B companies usually, they think that they're selling to one consumer. And they're using B2C techniques, but they're trying to sell to a business, which is a totally different game. When you're selling to a consumer, you're talking to one person. You're talking to them and you're trying to sell them shoes, a shirt, a fast food, whatever. It's a decision that is like $50, $100. And it's an emotional decision triggered by passion. It's an instant decision. It doesn't require a lot of thinking, a lot of research, a lot of logic to happen. On the contrary, when you're trying to sell services as a company, when you're dealing with contracts, with companies, with a board or decision makers or C-suite executives, you have to go through some steps. And all these people, they are checking you depending on the details that you're giving them. How rational is your offer with a competitor? The price level, the services, the benefits. It's not a passionate decision, it's not an emotional decision, it's not an instant decision. And this is the biggest mistake that all the companies do in B2B. Is that? Please. Brenda, yes?
I'm not really a marketing expert, but I've had to delve into the marketing side of the business just to better understand the target audience. It's interesting that you say that the buying decision is rational as opposed to emotional.
Yes.
But I find that a lot of the B2B make decisions from an emotional point of view as opposed to being rational. What I mean is, sometimes when logically it makes sense to invest in something, to buy a specific product, they will not have the sense of urgency to act. So it makes sense, but it's not I have to do it right now. But if they're in trouble and they want a solution right now, then that's what's going to push the decision between do I buy it now or do I buy it a year from now? So just could you explain more about the rational influences?
Well, very good question, thank you. I have two things I can answer there. First of all, you're talking for decision makers that they are affected, like I mentioned before, from their environment too. Don't forget that even if you are inside and you're doing a presentation, and you might have the best offer, but still the CEO trusts a friend that he is a competitor of yours because he didn't see you before. He doesn't know about you probably, or he has more affiliation with his body instead of you. So that's one reason that he might avoid buying from you, even though that you're offering the best service or best price. Now, the second thing is that you need to have, it's a more scarcity what you're talking about. You're talking about instant decision. In B2B, as you say, it's not working like this. Sometimes people are doing instant decisions because they need it, as you mentioned. Sometimes they're delaying because they have their own schedule. What happens is that when we're going in a B2B board and we are presenting and we get rejected, usually when companies do this, okay, I don't follow up with them, things, I got rejected. But that's the secret, you need to keep following them. Because every company has their own specific plan that they're going to invest. You cannot really make them buy your product today. Maybe they are researching and they have this in their own internal plan to buy the next year. Still, if you just let them go because they rejected you now, they will also forget you. You just need to keep following with emails, with social media, with content, and keep remaining in front of their eyes. So when the time comes and they are ready, and everything is mature and the budget is ready, they're going to call you back to do the business.
Yeah.
Does this answer your question?
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, I think it's a dual-pronged approach.
Yes.
There's some that would have an emotional influence that's going to make the decision as to whether they buy now or not. So there's the pain point aspect. If you can speak their language that relates to their pain point, they'll probably be more apt to respond quickly and buy a product. But yes, there are those people who say, yeah, this is a great idea, but it's not in our budget and we can't do it this year. But we're going to keep you in the back of our minds, and what we want to do is keep the engagement going so that when they're ready, boom, they call you up.
Exactly what you say, the first part that you said is about sales techniques mostly.
Oh.
How you're going to create them the urgency to buy now. Is that correct? Is this what you're talking about?
Yeah.
You're referring more to sales techniques, person to person or in a board meeting, in a group meeting, how you're going to create them the urgency to buy from you. That's a little bit different. But I understand what you say, you're correct what you say.
Also, I would like to point out on, again, going back to B2B marketing, sometimes you're talking to marketing managers or directors in those companies who love your products and who love what you do, but because their GM or their country manager doesn't believe it, or doesn't make a decision, the deal is not happening. So it's very important in B2B decision to actually talk to the right person. And sometimes when you think it's the right person, and on paper, on their bank account, they have a right contact, or they should be making the decision. Actually, behind the scene, they are not capable of making a decision. And someone else in the company, could be the CEO or someone higher, is actually making the final call. And I think, myself, I've been wasting a lot of time talking to so-called, people who are supposed to be responsible for this decision, rather than actually they cannot make any decision. And I think in B2B deals, they happen very often. Do you agree? Will you agree with that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, exactly. I think she knows even better than us that when you're talking with a B2B group, it usually takes 5-6 people until you get to the decision, right? So if you're talking to someone who doesn't have the power to make a decision, you need to keep reaching to higher level. And just push to get the next content and the next content. Because you can spend all your time to talking to these people, even if they love you, they will never buy from you because they don't have the okay from the higher level.
Yeah.
That's the most difficult part.
How would you, what advice would you give for us to be able to circumvent? Because what we don't want is to give those people the responsibility to internally upsell your idea, because they'll not do it as well as you would if you had the opportunity to meet directly with the decision. What advice would you give towards trying to cut through that filter?
The clutter, yes.
Yeah, the clutter, and go directly to the decision maker, reduce the time.
The best way that what you can do is try to make them understand that you're their ally. You want to help them also elevate their status in the company. If you make them feel this, then they will also help you go to a higher level.
Yeah, but you don't want to cut them off too. You have to be careful.
Yes.
Because you need to keep them in the decision process as well.
So there are a lot of times that I've heard people that they're doing meetings with people that they are not the direct decision makers, and they're trying to cut these people off and go to the next level, which that usually backfires. Because you're trying to cut me and go to my boss, then I will say bad things, negative things to my boss about you.
Yeah.
That's what happens usually. But if you understand that you're playing a relationship game, then you can make me your friend, and that I can speak with good words with my boss, and then arrange a 3 people meeting and present you as my idea at the board.
And I think that's very true in larger companies. When in bigger companies, you have a lot of internal politics and people are jealous of each other and back and always stabbing on each other internally, and you have to be very careful about that.
And always keep in mind that it might not be the correct time. Just this. It's just that it might not be the correct time. Just keep following with these people. In 6 months, it might be the correct time.
Just to share with you, in my company, we do problem mapping with the company like that have like very complexity in making a decision. They're going to be like influencer, gatekeeper, and at the end, the decision maker. So we do problem mapping those accounts, specific accounts. We try to like mapping our managing director with the president, the decision maker, key account with the, let's say, purchasing manager, and the sales with the technical guy to go through that process. That makes things
So how do you mandate? You actually make a list of all the decision makers,
yeah.
and you rank them by order, or
we do rank them by order, and we have we identify who is the influencer. It's probably the R&D or engineer,
okay,
and the gatekeeper, like purchasing manager, because those people, they make the decision differently. Like the purchasing manager, they will look into the price. The engineer, they probably look into the ease of using your products. The decision maker, they're going to see the low cost and saving costs. So
and you can. You ask them.
I've got to go.
okay, you do a lot of problem mapping in video with the topic.
And the best tool for that is LinkedIn, and you can use LinkedIn to really understand who's doing what.
I'd like to add to that for you.
So I'd like to make a comment about this too. I mean, my experience in B2B is more enterprise level marketing support with large sales teams in the US. So from my experience, the more complex the sales process, the more expensive the B2B product, and the longer the sales cycle. But then you have a great opportunity because you have a more longer extended time window to build the relationship. I got on LinkedIn in about 2004, 2005, when most people barely heard of it. I tried to get all my business colleagues on it, and they didn't see value in it, but now everyone's on it. And so I found LinkedIn to be a great tool, and I've trained different B2B sales teams about this too, how they can work with the marketing team. So the marketing teams doing the lead generation programs, making the content programs, doing email marketing. The extra thing I can say about email marketing is if you have more time with your relationship with the companies, then you can use email marketing also to do more frequency for the educational marketing, the thought leadership stuff. So a lot of people, there's only certain times during the year where it's appropriate for them to get a stronger sales pitch, because either they don't have the relationship with you or they're just not in the right timing cycle to buy and send a contract. But throughout the year, they'd love to get great tips on things to do in their industry, how to better optimize for their company. And then now with so many people on LinkedIn, kind of worldwide in different countries, in the marketing team, everyone in your marketing team should get on LinkedIn and connect with different people in other companies. And also that be working with your sales team so they're connecting too.
Brian, if I can add to that.
Yeah.
So if you're talking about getting past gatekeepers, going straight for or getting to the decision makers, for me in my experience, it's a positioning thing from the very start, right? So it shouldn't be a thing where you have to impress, you have to get past the gatekeepers. You're qualifying them as well to make sure they're the right fit for you too, right? So in your qualification or your sales process, you have to qualify them in my experience. And part of that qualification should be, is this a decision maker, or what does it take to get there? So you know straight up what it takes to get to that person, how long it's going to take, how long to start. So you want to just be in a position that you're interviewing them to make sure you guys are the right fit, and have your process set up so you have them qualified and you know what it's going to take to get to the decision maker if you haven't got there, right? So never go in like, I best things for us. They have to be the right fit. You have to be the right fit for each other. Right? It's not the other way around.
Well,
I'll answer it.
yeah, the thing is that we're trying a new approach with cold leads, right? And if we are selling training, we offer like 45-minute free consultation on a specific problem that we know that the industry is facing. And we're getting a lot of traction from that. And just in that moment, we're able to establish that exactly the need is correct. And we know we're doing the right product that's going to address the need. The question is now, how do you move from, okay, you give your 45-minute consultation, the client is interested, but you know for sure they're not a decision maker because these are people who are facing the day-to-day problems, they're the ones dealing with the challenge. And they're going to have a difficult time trying to internally sell what you're offering to the decision maker. And you want to support them as best as you can. But sometimes logistically it's just not possible because these are people who are not within the same continent, or it's a 6-hour flight away or something like that. So I'm just trying to work through that.
Yeah, great question.
To move it forward and say, okay, how do we keep that momentum going and get apart from just the email marketing? Because if I wait maybe a month to talk to them about a new event that's coming up, I may be too late. Or not, it's hard to tell.
Here is a quick tip. How can you make your offer, the free consultation, even more valuable to them? How can you open even more the door? What I would do is I would try to do a research. I don't know what is your margin, I don't know what is your industry. Give them 1 month free of consultancy. Who's going to say no to this? And then get your profit by the next charges.
Or give them a free report, something like, something they can actually share back to their management. Not a complete report, but just, kind of a...
An appetizer.
Yeah, an appetizer, yeah, something what you could do, right? And just give them a kind of audit of your view of a business and just to get them excited about it.
Yeah, so do like a short-term assessment that
Yeah,
addresses what...
Think about this. If you were talking to a group of non-decision makers and you told them that I will give you, for example, 2 weeks of free consultation or whatever you said, 2 weeks or 1 month, wouldn't that make their position easier to their boss? Because now the boss don't even have to invest nothing. But you still get to enter the door and present yourself and deliver your services, and 90% of the chances is that you're going to stay there because no one else did this before.
I think that could work, but I think the challenge with that is, from your scenario, you're saying you're giving this 45-minute little pitch thing to people that are interested, but they're not the decision maker, right? So they need to act as your advocate to the decision maker, and you can't talk to the decision maker directly. So I've seen a couple of companies do it a couple different ways. One way is and it's so easy with LinkedIn, because we're talking about LinkedIn in a second. You can quickly build a digital relationship with the people, some of the individuals that attended your 45-minute session on LinkedIn or through some social channels, and then understand more about the behavior within that type of business environment. And then I've seen some companies actually develop like an internal little pitch kit, and then you actually then give this pitch kit to the people that attended your 45-minute thing, and then because they love it, but they can't make a decision, and they use that as a template, and then they pitch it to the boss.
They're becoming your sellers.
Exactly.
Company, very smart.
Yeah.
I think actually for the B2B, you have to, not only for sales, but you have to know what they need from you. For example, do you know what they need from you, your solution? For example, if you sell one machine to the customer, do you know why they need new machine? To expand the production, or to save the cost, or to save energy? This is the key issue of the B2B. It's not only you see the all decision maker, but do you know what is the criteria of decision that they need?
What are their needs? What kind of needs?
This is the key thing. So not only you go to every decision maker, but you didn't know the real issue or your reason that they need. So sometimes it's very complex. So you have to understand not only the person, but understand their business also. And you have to match your benefit with the business, not the people.
That's 100% correct, like you said. This, of course, in my opinion, that's for granted. If your company that you're trying to complete these services, you are not doing this, then you have to go back and you don't need to know social media and all these things. You need to go back and redesign your whole sales process because that's the basic. You see, it's totally correct. And taking your suggestions, sharing content on B2B is very important.
Before you move on, let's explain, so I don't need to jump into it, but I had an answer for Brendan to a question you directed at me about, I feel it's really important, so I apologize for jumping in. You mentioned that your leads are people who are interested, but people who have a really hard time going from there to closing this deal, right?
Yeah, that's what we're seeing more and more. A lot of the responses are from people who are not really decision makers.
Right. So just cut it short. Would that tell me clearly that your targeting is not? Your targeting is they're not your ideal customers. That's really the short of it. They're not ideal.
They're not the right level.
Right. They might be right.
Not the right kid. Not the right kid.
Yeah, they're not the right. They're not your ideal persona. And that takes me back to your question, Eric. How do I qualify people? It's subjective for everyone, of course. For me, it's use my ideal client as a persona and just match any future prospects to that, to the characteristics of this persona. And then it works like a charm.
Yeah,
That's what you
the qualification process is very important. Maybe you are actually trying to sell to the wrong people. So I feel the qualification at the beginning is probably not done properly, right? You need to make sure that the people who are doing the consultation are potential customers and not just prospects. You know what I mean?
Yes and no.
Yeah,
I know, but actually the people who understand the problems the best are not necessarily the decision makers. It's the guys at the operational level. They are the ones who understand the problems the best. So if I go direct to the decision maker, he'll just say, okay, it was great to meet you, and I'll have my team get in touch with you. So if they do it that way, I may not have much traction. But if I do it the other way, and like, oh my God, this person understands me. It's like they know my problem. They can actually solve my problem. But if they're not able to sell it financially, speak the CEO language, they may have a difficult time selling it. And that's a bit we can try and help them with. But I see that we have a lot more traction with people who at the operational level because they're the ones who have that problem on a day-to-day basis. They understand the challenge more than the decision makers do. So that's why I say it's yes and no. It's yes because these are the people that understand it, but then it looks like it's a double-layered approach.
Yes.
Where I have to have a way of speaking to the guys who are at the operational level and they understand the challenges and they know this solution is a good fit for them. And then I have to have a different way of reaching out to the decision makers so that I can try and shorten the lead time cycle, the sales cycle. And okay, you have this problem, make a decision, sell, and let's move forward.
Okay.
I'm just thinking about it. I don't know about the whole marketing and sales job, and I'm doing pretty much everything, or leading the efforts behind that. So.
Okay, Leslie, go ahead because if not, we can't speak.
Sorry to take that. You get so much tired.
Very good question.
You still want to talk about LinkedIn, so.
Well, when we're talking about social selling, sharing content is important for B2B. Decision makers are 4 times more likely to buy when they get a referral from a friend. 4 times more likely to buy decision makers in B2B. 84% of B2B decision makers begin their buying process with a referral. So that you understand how much important is that your brand, when you're selling to other companies as B2B, needs to be out there and presenting themselves that we are doing really something daily, every 2 days, every 3 days, sharing content, LinkedIn, Facebook, anywhere that your audience is. 10 pieces of content are consumed before a B2B buying decision is made. When you're talking to a B2B decision maker, this person usually, in an average number, is that he or she should have seen your company or your brand at least 10 times. A review about your brand, a video in YouTube, maybe some articles on LinkedIn, a recommendation, a referral from someone. And that makes the process of closing the deal easier for your business. 2016, 80.33% B2B leads generated from LinkedIn. 80.33%. That's in North America, it's not in Asia, not APAC numbers. Now that number talks by itself. You understand the importance of leads generation in LinkedIn when we're talking about B2B. 12.73% is from Twitter. So that makes you understand that if you're not in LinkedIn and you're in a B2B business, you're practically shooting yourself on the foot. And if you're trying to delegate it or leave it outside. Companies that are using social selling, they are seeing 100% increase in conversion rates from social media. Doubling your leads. How does it sound? Answer.
Sounds great. Yeah,
Awesome, let's do it.
I'm like, hell yes.
What's the needs of a B2B audience? Okay, let's say that we agree, we are doing this, we're going on social media, we're going on LinkedIn, we're going on Twitter. What should we share? Most companies that are in B2B, they don't know what to share, especially in traditional industries. I was working in a wholesale jewelry company. I was trying to make them understand this, and they were like, we manufacture rings, what can we share about this? People don't care. And I was like, no, people care because in your industry globally, because I did research, there are only 4 companies that they're doing social media, 4 around the world. So if you're the 5th by itself, it puts you on the top of the companies. You don't have even competition around you. No, we don't need it. That was the answer. So what does the B2B audience need? They need efficiency and expertise. The purchase process is rational and logically driven. They need to be educated and provided with expertise. They need highly detailed content. This is why you will see sometimes when you go to websites that they are focusing on B2B, you will see articles that are like 2,000-3,000 words and they're going and they're going and they're going, white papers, reports. But when you're seeing a website that sells shoes, you see small things with photos because it's a different audience. In B2B, I want to do my research, I want to understand everything before I buy your search or your offer. They need lengthy content that tends to work better. They need to build a close relationship with the brands. The buying cycle is often much longer and meant to complete long-term goals. This comes back to what you asked. Sometimes when you're talking with B2B groups, they have a plan in 6 months, in 1 year, in 2 years that they're going to buy your service. And it's not about you, you might be the best. But I have the budget to buy in 6 months, not today. Why referrals matter? 65% of new businesses come directly from referrals in B2B. 65%. Referrals means that someone that is close to the decision maker saw your brand online, read something positive about your brand, read a review, watched the video, and went to the decision maker and said, hey, have you checked this about your company? Did you see this service or this product? You might want to check it out. I've heard very good things about it. And as you said before, as you saw before in my second slide, 55% of the people trust their peers. the decision maker is still a human. So what will he do or she do? She will trust her friends. Referred customers spend an average of 13% more than regular customers because of the fact of trust. These people trust you already. Here's the social selling anatomy of a B2B decision maker. 81% of the decision makers use communities and blogs. Read blogs, watch videos, comments, post ratings, reviews, they publish posts, and upload visual media. Okay.
Okay.
74% of them use LinkedIn to network with peers, to connect with vendors in LinkedIn groups. 42% of them use Twitter to consume content, retweet content, post content, look for support. Personally, when I want to have support from SaaS companies or software or other platforms, I go to Twitter and I send them instantly in their profile. I don't even send emails anymore. So,
Not taking it personally.
so if your brand is not there, how do you expect to connect with the mass media? How do you expect to connect with your consumers?
Is Twitter popular in Thailand? Is it popular?
Indonesia is their biggest market. I'm sorry, I'm married to someone from Twitter, so.
Which market is it?
Indonesia.
Indonesia is the biggest market.
Philippines is catching up. Thailand is pleasant.
I think Twitter is losing overall. I think people are getting tired of it. I mean, do you guys use Twitter?
Depends on the region that you're in.
Yeah.
The US is so.
It's not for everyone.
Japan is very still very heavy users.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the corporation, they just tweet at the same time as Facebook and LinkedIn. But Twitter is the most highest reaction you can get.
Yeah.
So it's kind of one of the
Regis is doing very well. In some places, it's just completely dead.
I think in Southeast Asia it's not so popular, but for the rest of the
It's not so popular. I don't think it's going to be popular because they have so much competition from the apps,
of course, I agree with you.
from WhatsApp and Line and WeChat.
Line, yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah.
It depends on the need that you have.
Yeah.
I mean, you cannot, in my opinion, you cannot compare Line with Twitter. Twitter, people can follow you, can send you direct messages. In Line, they need to be your friends.
Yeah.
So you cannot really market to them and make them add you. You cannot make campaigns like it so easy. It's a different kind of market. But there are always the advocates of Twitter and the people that hate it. Yeah. I hated it before, now I understand what it is used and I'm using it.
The problem is the noise on Twitter. I mean, there's already so much noise on LinkedIn already, and Twitter is like, it's overwhelming, I think.
Well, here is a good case. What you can do on Twitter is you can go and search geographically. So you say, I want to see all the profiles that are around me in 10 kilometers, and they're in Bangkok, 10 kilometers around. And then it will bring you all the people, and you don't need to have any advertiser account or pay for this. So you can go instantly with your company profile and start seeing which people are relevant to your product and connect with them. And that's free.
Okay.
Here are some performance benefits of social selling. Social sellers significantly outperform their competition in numerous KPIs. That's a research that happened in Aberdeen University in UK. With the green color, users of social selling. With the blue color, all the others. Team attainment sales quota. 64% for social selling, 49% for all the others. Customer renewal rates. Sales forecast accuracy. Percent of sales reps achieving quota. Is it clear on the back, the numbers? So you understand how people that they're working in sales departments and they're using social selling, they're perform higher than people that they're not using this. 40% of salespeople have closed 2 to 5 deals per year as a result of social selling. That's coming from Cisco. You understand that the numbers, they speak by themselves. If we are not doing this, we're practically losing a lot from our marketing abilities. 73% of salespeople using social selling as part of their selling process outperform their sales peers and exceeded quota by 23% more often. That's from LinkedIn, and they mentioned the revenue influenced by social selling. You can see all the industries. At least 50% increase by using LinkedIn and social selling.
Maybe I'm that one. Can you define social selling? On the Twitter, I just say, hey, this is my product. Do you want to buy? I don't think nobody would buy it. So what's the social settings? How do you?
To be honest, there is no clear definition.
Yeah.
There is like a lot of different definitions. The way I understand it is becoming yourself, connected with your brand, valuable, doing this online. Like what Max said before, you're the CEO or executive in your company. You want to connect yourself with your brand and show that people can trust you because of your face, and at the same time trust your brand. And that means by putting articles on social media, opinions, videos, reviews. But it doesn't mean selling all the time. Selling needs to be something around 20% of what you're sharing out there. 80%, 90% should be valuable content. Another 10 to 20% needs to be selling offers or products. Does it make sense?
I agree with you that it's vital to create content and then create conversations around that content to build context, which then can lead to sale. But I think, Yasu, I'm Steve. I think it's more the how, right? Last just explained the way. I think maybe it's like what's the action item for all of us to how. Dude, the first thing to start with is not to randomly go out there and start posting like pictures of you go on your trip to Barcelona, although it's awesome, which was fun as well. But it's to have a strategy. So you're not going at it loosely or randomly or anything like that. You would have started with something like along the lines of like what's the objective, right? Whatever your business is, what's the vision for what the sole purpose of my social marketing is. You would have your competitor research on what works for people in your space, what's the best, most engaging content of your top 20 competitors, like locally, internationally. You would take the learnings from them and put your unique spin on it, right? Whatever it might be. You would create content pillars, right? So you might have 6 to 10 content pillars. So that you're not just like one day thinking, oh, I'll post a picture of that beautiful sunset for some reason, and then the next 4 hours later it's like I'll post a picture of my avocados or whatever. You have content pillars so that when you're going to create your content schedule for the month ahead, you look at your 6 pillars, whatever you have. One of them might be product information. One of them might be lifestyle and what your business, whatever problems you solve with your audience is. One of them might be hints and tips, things like this, so that you then have your 6 pillars and you might look for 30 posts a day, or a month, sorry, 1 a day, and you might break that content pillars up into those 6 content pillars into 5 posts for each pillar, and then you'll schedule them, right? You'll have your ad copy, you'll have your visuals or your videos created for them, and so on, and then you'll A/B test them as well, right? So it might be, in this case, it might be a monthly kind of A/B test, not exactly daily. So you'll see at the end of that, wow, content pillar number 1 is awesome, got loads of engagement with whatever your objective is. Cool, let's double down on this. Content pillar 6 got nothing, so let's X that up and replace it with what our research shows is another high engaging content pillar, right? And essentially at super, super high level, that's it, that's the how.
Yeah,
right?
That's very nice.
Okay.
You nailed it. Thank you very much.
As it is to try to finish up. We need to take a quick break after.
Quick case studies. IBM using social selling. 400% increase in annual sales. 400%. 10% more revenue and 10% more likely to achieve quota.
I'm surprised by IBM because I don't see them a lot on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
I'm very surprised by that. SAP is doing a lot, but IBM no.
Maybe because they use also Lenovo.
Yeah, maybe they use
So
it.
you see Lenovo.
Lenovo brand,
Because
yeah.
they don't want to show IBM, they want to show Lenovo, but it's IBM.
IBM, right?
And Lenovo is selling a lot also here in Asia.
Log my calls, 400% increase in leads in 90 days. In content, increased revenue per sale by 122%. And before you ask me that, I'm showing you only very huge companies. The benefit of this is that the smaller companies, they are not there yet. They're not still using this because it's very new trend. So if you're in a small company and you start implementing this inside your process, this will put you in front at the winner place, at the leader place right from the get-go. Until the other companies in your industry at your level start following this trend. To wrap it up, there's a nice tool in LinkedIn. You can go to linkedin.com/sales/SSI. Connect your profile and check what is your social selling index, which will give you an example of if your profile is optimized correctly, if your network in your industry, what are the other people are doing, how can you improve. It's a nice tool, it's free, so you can go and check it out. That's all.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.
If you want the presentation, I have links for every slide. You can go and check the data and research. You can add me on LinkedIn, shoot me your email, and I will send you the presentation.
Yeah,
Thank
and
you very much.
Yeah. And if you're interested in LinkedIn marketing as well, I'd like to do another event on that topic as well. We've done this in other cities, and I will not invite LinkedIn because I think it's better sometimes to have external consultants from LinkedIn. LinkedIn can do a lot of sales pitch when we do events. But Fesilis is interested, and I think there are a couple of people who are doing some good stuff around LinkedIn marketing in Thailand, so we can do that. So thank you, Fesilis.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. Okay. Thank you. Let's take a quick break, 5 minutes. I know some you have to go. You're going to be late. So let's take a quick 5 minutes break. Please feel free to eat. If you want to order coffee and tea as well.